It's been almost a year coming, but we are finally finishing up our kitchen. So I'm going to show you what all we have done and accomplished that I really just left you hanging on. And I'm going to show you what details we have left to finish. But this week we should be finishing up the very final details on our farmhouse kitchen. It will finally be done. So let me show you around, show you where we started and what all we have left to do. Thanks for joining us. So it was that first week of November last year, 2022, that Damien took off. We were able to demo everything. We demoed 90s oak cabinets. We demoed drywall and wood paneling and all of the insulation out of the walls. And we even had to do the flooring, which ended up being 5 layers of flooring. The 2000 or the 2020 floor that somebody had put in, the 2000s floor, the 1990s floor, the 1970 floor, and some nasty subfloor. We got that all torn out. In that first 9 days that Damien took off, we were able to get in the whole bank of cabinets and use plywood to get our sink hooked up and functioning. We got our range back installed. And so in 9 days, we were back to a mostly functioning kitchen. Then throughout the rest of the month of November, we were able to get our drawers and doors in, so we were able to put things back in the kitchen, and we were waiting on those countertops. So we chose a butcher block countertop that required an oil finish, and we just had to wait for the oil to cure. So we were able to get pieces in, the left side of the stove first, and then the sink piece. And so it was December that we got the real countertops in. December, we got our sink hooked up on butcher block countertops and got the dishwasher installed. So that was just about a month after we had started our project. We got that done for real. January, we got the new flooring in. So we had done the subfloors right away, but the actual engineered hardwood that we chose to put in here, we got installed in January. In February, we finished sealing the edge of the floors and installing all the baseboards and the door trim. And that's pretty much where we left off. So it has been a long time since we have done a kitchen update, and we have been slowly working away on the things that need to get done. And so I just wanted to show you around what we have done, what needs to get done, some of the problems we ran into. As you can see, the kitchen is working, and so we've got dishes, we've got our mixer to make bread, we've got sprouts growing on the counter, we've got chicken broth cooling on the stove. So this is about as clean as it gets, but I wanted to show you around and show you what we have. But as you can see, the kitchen is basically done. The counters are in, we have been using them. They're all sealed, oiled, and dried. You can see we have one spot here that's not finished. The 2 drawers are missing because we haven't attached that piece yet. We need to come back and work on this seam. The more we live with it, I don't really mind, but we didn't do a great job of this seam. It's not super straight. We need to come back in. I think you can just putty it. We really haven't looked into it. It's not a huge deal. We can just do that at the end, but unfortunately it is keeping us from putting in the 2 top drawers because the drawer slides will be in the way of attaching the countertop. So it's fine. We're living with it as is. The kitchen is working. The sink is in. We've got the dishwasher. So for right now, our Berkey is over here by the sink because that's what we've got. But we will be modifying this. So this was the last cabinet that had not been originally in. And this is actually just a cut off piece of countertop. You can see it's not long enough. This will be an island section, or I guess it's really a peninsula. It will cover this counter or this cabinet, and it will come out and around just in a small space here. So we'll have some more working space. It has been a year coming, but we are finally finishing up our kitchen. So we're going to show you what all we have left, how it's looking, and just kind of finishing off those final details. But we're so excited to be back to work after a summer of garden and animals. But let me show you what we've got. So this is our walnut butcher block, and I'm finishing it with tung oil. I actually have the bottle here in my rag. It is Real Milk Paint Company's 50/50 tung oil. It looks so good. So this is going to be our peninsula piece. We do have to, it'll cover the one cabinet next to our refrigerator and stick out. And over here in the garage, I have these pieces, which are going to be our backsplash pieces. So I've just put some oil on them too. They look fantastic. I got them all sanded up. So we're hoping to get these installed this week. So this week we had a bunch of different small things to tackle. Nothing huge. Again, we had left the kitchen functioning. First up was this range hood. So we installed this. It took us a little bit to kind of figure out how to get it vented up into the ceiling. One blessing of our roof leak that we had this spring, and it took all the way until September to get fixed, was we had the roofer cut a vent in our roof for this range hood. So we got that installed. My dad came over and helped with that. After it got installed, then we could get the crown molding up. So you can see the crown molding all around the edge. And that is always tough. You've got to get the angle right. So we were trying to match it up with the corners that meet our living room. And we thought that it was the exact same kind of crown molding, but of course, the old stuff did not exactly match the new stuff. And so we had to kind of modify an edge. I'll show you a zoomed in part on one of these edges. It's really interesting. It's super close, but I had to like carve the side of it and paint it and caulk it. And it's not perfect, but nobody's gonna notice unless I point it out to you. After we got the crown molding, there was a little bit of window trim. So we got this kitchen window all framed out. It's been sitting here without trim all this time. So it's pretty awesome to have that done. Then we had the peninsula. This was our biggest challenge this week. Our biggest project was this awesome peninsula behind me. So it looks super straightforward and super simple. It just has two simple legs. Ooh, you can see my mess. All my tools are still out. It just has two simple legs and it goes out over to the cabinet. But our floors are crooked. There is over an inch drop. Well, it's not quite that dramatic, but it is a pretty dramatic drop in this last 10 feet of our house. I think it must have been an addition at some point. So squaring up these legs and getting them level and cut down, they had to be cut different amounts to make up for the drop in the floor. But we did it. We did it. It is flat and level. You can put a marble on it and it does not roll. So we are super excited about this. We got this in. Next up was to route the edges, and we had played with that. We had to play with all different settings on our router. We bought the router last year to do the countertops, and we just hadn't gotten around to trying it out. So we tried it out on a cutoff piece, and then we routed these, what are these called? The backsplash pieces. And so we did the backsplash pieces. We did this piece for the peninsula while it was downstairs, and then we came in and we did these countertops up here. So we did the sink edge as well. After we got all that done, there's just some like random stuff. You have to fill all the holes in the crown molding. You have to caulk the edges. Then you got to paint back over it and paint all the trims. So there are still a few paint trim details left that I'll take care of this week. Our half wall is not quite finished. We have all the decisions made. We have all the parts. We're just waiting for this weekend for Damien to have the day off. It'll just take a few minutes to put it up there, and then again the final details of painting and getting that all squared away. And then the last thing that we did was this piece here. So this countertop piece looks like it should have been the easiest one. It's the shortest, but the angle between the sink piece and this one is not 90 degrees. Our walls do not match up, and we had assumed that when we first cut it, and then ended up with it cut too short because we had to twist it for the angle and recut that. So it was a hot mess. We didn't like it, and so we decided that in the overall cost of our kitchen, it really was not a big deal to change that piece out. We'll repurpose this piece probably for a desk or a table or something. We're trying to figure out the details on that, but we bought a new piece and we cut it and we got it right, which is a miracle. We are doing the last cut on the last countertop. Are we gonna get it right? It's the last one. It's the last one. Here it is on the ground. One more cut and maybe, just maybe, we'll be all done. Good job.
Yeah.
We got that piece right. It is perfect, but it's unfinished. So that will be the last step, is to actually sand that down, get that finished, and get that in place. But it's done. That is no stress. This piece of countertop has been here the whole time. It's working great. It's no big deal. So it's 99% done. We're calling the kitchen 99% done. We will wrap up the final details in the next week or so. But that's what we've got for you now. We really appreciate you joining us. We are so happy with how this has turned out, how useful this kitchen has been for us. If you have any questions about products that we used or anything like that, I'd be happy to answer them. I will link some of the things, our cabinets and our countertops, and probably the finish for the countertops. We have really loved those. So we'll link those companies down below. But thanks for watching. We hope that you are encouraged to tackle a project like this. It takes more time than you think, but it really can be done, and we're so happy with the progress. So thanks so much for watching. We'll see you next week.